Good morning, everybody. Coming to you from my crop room on this sunny Thursday morning to do our Bloom with Grace layout tips. I really loved working with this paper. It was a beautiful paper pack to work with, featuring the colors of Canary, Desert Rose, Espresso, Fern, French Vanilla, and Sangria and Toffee. I actually used Espresso, and I used Canary, and I used Fern and New England Ivy for the leaves. And I actually added in a little of it wasn't the Desert Rose. I tried the Desert Rose, which is the lighter color here. I preferred the cinnamon, which is one of our new colors to use, and I think it came out quite effective with the cinnamon, with the coloring. It was more of the darker color in the center of the flowers, along with this espresso. So I did get crafty with my Cricut to create your little window block that goes around your PML card here for the top. I actually took a frame, made my frame, just two rectangles together, and added in one of the flowers from the carts. I actually watched a video to learn how to do that. It was a little fun. It's a little tricky. Not as easy as my Silhouette. My Silhouette's still the simplest software to use for me. But I was able to accomplish it, which was really great. So now I can join letters for titles, etc., etc. Anyways, a little bit about what I did. The other thing I've included in your kit is a stencil this time. You'll see it's in your pack. It's clear, and it's got the honeycomb pattern in it. I'll show you how to do stenciling. Actually, some of you who wanted that didn't have your hexagon thin cuts that we sell, I cut your little thing out of your PML card, and this one was actually one of the bigger sizes, excuse me, that I used, but I actually used the small PML card for it. One other tip is in your kits, well, let me just go about our kits here first. Let me just get the kit out and what you're going to get in your kit. Alrighty. So you're going to get your paper, obviously. It's French Vanilla that I used. You're going to get your stencil. And be careful because there are some 2 or 3 little clear of the centers of the hexagons. You're going to need those to trace on your pattern paper, so don't lose those. And here's your stencil. You'll have a stencil. You can't really see it too well. It's clear. And here's your leaves. You'll have leaves, and the leaves you'll put behind. You're going to have to poke out some of your little pieces. I didn't poke all the pieces out because I cut a lot of stuff, and I didn't. But you'll just assemble your leaves like that. You'll put them one on top of the other, and I used a glue pen to do that. So those are your leaves. And you'll have these little guys to go behind your flowers. These little discs, what I did, now you can hold them up there and you'll see, I used a 1-inch punch for them. You'll see that it's very, very close to covering the center, but it does go a little over the center. So all I did, if you don't want that to show, or if you're concerned about that showing, I just used my scissors and just went around, just cut a little tiny bit around the edge of your disc. And it's forgiving enough that it's not even in the center, so you can just set it in there. If you're not concerned about it, it's really not that much. It's just like a hair. It's really tiny, the difference. So you can do it either way. Leave it that way, or put that in there. But you're going to put that on first, and then you're going to match up your little piece here. Well, let me see if I can match it. Like that, maybe. No. Well, you got to match this. Oh, there we go. You match this little piece, and again, use your glue pen. Now, before you do that, though, if you see here in mine, I used a little tangerine ink and just kind of brushed around the edge of the flower to give it a little this part of it, this part of the flower, you're going to brush a little ink on, a little tangerine ink, or you can use a darker yellow, anything just to give it a little color around the edge, because it gives it more pop, more dimension. See what I mean by the flowers? It really does give it more dimension if you just edge that. But I did it before I glued the espresso piece on top. That's how I did that. And I also did it around here, around this edge. I used some of the canary, and then I used a little bit of tangerine around the outside edge of that also. So that was that, because we're going to use canary and tangerine inks during this project. Alrighty. So then you'll have your little strips and your photo mats. And here's the little guy that I made. He was so much fun to do. I had a good time making him. As I say, you got to poke out all these little pieces. I didn't do them for everybody because it would have taken me for a long time to do that many. It took a long time to cut all this stuff too. I got to tell you what. I think I'll limit my intricate cuts to ones where I have less pieces. So anyways, those are your flowers. You'll have plenty of flowers in there to layer. And your dots and your strips for the sides. These little strips go on the side. And here's all your photo mats. More leaves, leaf tops, and flowers. And here's your cinnamon colored strips for the side. Now on your pattern paper, how I did this, you'll see I cut off my zip strip, of course, but then I came in right about here. See, here's your zip strip on the bottom. I came in right about here and fussy cut. Now you'll see how I fussy cut. I'll send you the picture. You'll see how I fussy cut. I kind of went in here and then around that one and around that one. And then I went in all the way up here, around here. Now what did I do when I got here on this one? I kind of just cut it off. You can't really tell the difference. Nobody's going to look at it that close that you'll ever see that. And then I went in and around. And then on this one, I did the same thing. I kind of cut up and down. And then I went around this one. And then this one I kind of made the leaves just in a leaf shape, but just shorter. And then around and around and around, and then down to here. Alrighty. So on the second page, I think I used just the opposite side of it. I did. See how I did that? Here's this one and here's this one. I used the opposite side that was already cut and just trimmed in a little more. Trimmed around a little more. So it was much easier because it was already cut. And then when I got up here, I cut over, I measured over from this one right here to here. And it is 3.5 inches. So 3.5 inches from here to here, and I cut on my trimmer. Just put a little tick mark with a pencil and cut on your trimmer. So then you'll have this side left over so that you can take your little, these little doodads that are in your thing, they're clear, and you just can, so you can see through them, and you can lay them over a flower and just pencil mark and fussy cut those out so that you can put them in. I only cut, what, 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I put them on top of the stenciling. Or not even. No, they weren't on top of the stenciling. I don't think. I think they were outside the stenciling. I'll show you how to do the stenciling in a minute, because you're going to stencil both pages. Okay? So that was that. Now on this, I popped this one. These are all down flat. All this is down flat. This was the only one that's popped on this page. Pop dotted. And on this one was pop dotted. And also, if you bought the wooden shapes, how I did this was I used Versamark ink and gold embossing powder. I don't see my gold here. I must have put it away. But it's the gold tinsel. And I pushed my letter into the Versamark pad and then dipped it in the gold embossing powder and just heat set it. So that's how that was done. This is a PML card. You'll need that PML card, this PML card, and this PML card. And And that was it for that part of it. So on to the stenciling, because I really want to show you. That was the exciting part of this whole project that I really, really enjoyed doing. It was a lot of fun to do that. Let me get my kit out of the way here so I don't lose parts. So when you're doing this, now I'm going to be doing it upside down. So you're starting from, because I can't do it the other way. You're starting from your top, I got 2 sheets of paper here. I don't need 2, I need 1. So you're going to start from your top left corner. And how I did that was I did it like this. Let's see here. This is this one right here. You won't even see the top left. So if you practice up in that corner, up in this corner, you aren't going to see it because see how your border covers that part. So, but I did start up here because I wasn't sure when I create. I'm never sure what I'm going to do, but I knew I wanted to stencil. So I kind of started like here. Like that, up there. And then you take your ink, and I started with the yellow, and I use these brushes. I love these makeup brushes. I have the brown ones also. These are my newer ones. These ones are actually made for scrapbooking and stuff. I bought them on a site, I think Simon Says Stamp or something, because they were color coded. I'm not sure I like the brush part as well as I like my little $10 makeup brushes that I got on Amazon before I bought. So you're going to hold this, or you can tape it down to your mat if you want. I'm just going to hold it, and you're just going to kind of come in and go around the edges, and you want it darker on one edge, but we'll do that with the tangerine afterwards. But you're going to have to buy quite a bit of ink to get the color I got going on. You're going to need quite a bit of ink in there to get it going. But you're just going to rub, and I'm applying probably what I would call medium pressure. I probably should tape that down. I think I will, because I'm afraid it's going to move. It probably is a good idea to tape it down because it will move, and I've already moved it. I can see that. So you don't want it to move. If you have Post-it note tape, that's the best to use. Trying to get it straight there where I had it before. That's pretty good. Well, maybe not. It's hard to see with that light here. There we go. No, I've moved it. Oh well. Anyway, I'm not too concerned about this because it's just a practice one to show you guys. But I would tape it down at least one spot so it's not moving when you go to re-ink your brush. And then you're going to just go in and give it some good color. And as you can see, it can be uneven because that's what gives it the depth. You don't need to have it solidly filled. I know you guys that want to solidly fill it like it's a piece of cardstock. You don't need to do that. See, mine's not even. If you can see it there, it is not even. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my brush out, and I'm going to use my Nectarine. And then I'm going to take a little ink there. And now this one you want to be a little more light-handed on. I'm going to start down here and give it just a little color on the edge. And see how that darkens it up? It just darkens it up a little bit. And then you can go over here and do it again. Give it a little more. Oh, wrong one. Give it a little more and go in the inside here like that. And just kind of around the edges. You don't want to go in the middle with this one. You want to just catch the edges. And just a little, not a lot. But see how that's giving it more depth? It's really giving it that honeycomb look, I think. You can play with this for a little while. You can practice this, actually. You want to hold it, too. Practice this on a scrap sheet if you need. But see how it looks? It just gives it such a fun look. So now you're going to untape your... Be careful with your... If you use this tape. I like the Post-it note tape, but I don't know what I've done with it. I think it's with my card stuff, and I haven't moved that out of here. So now, when I lay this here, I'm going to come down here like this, because I want to go... my ultimate goal is to be down in this corner over here. So I want to make sure I move my stencil down. So then I'm going to tape it. And that's not really good. I'm going to have to move this up a little bit because I have to tape it onto my mat. like that. And then I'm going to tape this over here this time because I don't want it to move. See, I'm going to tape it over here. And then I'm going to go back in with my yellow because I want to start with my yellow first. Always start with your lightest colors, and if you need to, and this goes with any kind of stenciling, always start with your lightest color first and then add in as you go. And if it picks up some of the orange on the sides that's on my stencil, don't worry about that. Don't wash your stencil till the end because you don't want it wet and make a blob on your work. But you should wash it after you're done with it, that's all. See now how that one brought in some of the orange that was on the edge? That's okay. So we're just going to keep doing our little circles around. Circles are the best. And if you have a stencil brush, you're still going to do it that way too. I learned actually how to stencil with a stencil brush. But now we have these kind of brushes and they work better for this, especially for ink. When you're using paint, the brushes probably would, regular stencil, flat bottom brushes would work best. So again, I'm going to come in with my orange, my nectarine, and I'm just going to go around in any old pattern I feel like, not necessarily following the lines, just on the edges, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there, just to give it some depth. And you can actually see how I've got some lighter yellow there where I haven't hit the edges so much. So you can make some a little darker if you want, like over here. And I think I've done a pretty good job with that. That's enough, I think. Don't worry if you get a little, see now it didn't make a mess anywhere. It's perfect. And then when you do the last one, you're going to come over like this. And it will go off your page, or you can get it so it stays on your page. If it goes off, that's okay too, because mine did. You can see here where mine went off the page a little bit on that corner. It's fine. However it ends up, it ends up. But the bottom line is you want it down here in the corner like this. Now I've got to put it at the top because I don't want it to move off my paper, basically. So I'm going to stick this up here like that. And I'll stick this other one over here like that. Like so. And then I'm going to go back to my yellow. Now, I'm not sure you could do this with a sponge. You really want a brush. So if you have a flat stencil brush, that will work also. But I like these makeup brushes. I really think they're worth the investment. The ones I got on Amazon were only like $10, and you got a whole bunch of different sizes. These ones that I got are all the same sizes, and this is probably the most popular size that you would use. But if you're doing fine detail, you may like the other makeup brushes, because I also like them because I can do little leaves and different things that are smaller with the other set. And in order to clean them, I just rinse them with water in the sink and let them dry. So it's kind of good to have more of this size because you use this size the most. The stenciling's not hard, and it's fun, and it's relaxing. I love it. And then I'll get a little bit of my orange again, and this time, since it's so dark there, I'm going to go in here and make it darker on this side because you like contrast. You know how contrast makes things look better. Makes other things pop every time you have a little more contrast. And there you go. So there's your stenciling. It doesn't take long. And when you do your next page, I'm not going to do it because I don't really want to, you know, waste another sheet of cardstock. But the next page, you're going to start at the bottom and go up. So on this one, see, I started over here, and I actually started off my page. So actually, what you can do, this will work awesome if you do it this way. Put your two pages together like that. And you might want to even stencil onto that other page a little bit so that it continue. See how I would start here. I would start doing it on this page with my yellow and then go into my yellow here and then just work your way up to this corner. So that's how I did that. It was like a V shape, and I just went around and around and around with my brushes, and it worked out great. It was a fun little technique to learn how to do and play with a little bit. So I hope you enjoy using your stencil. You could use it on a card. You could use it on anything you want to make your own background paper. You could do the whole thing if you wanted. Now, the next little thing I'm going to show you is this. Let me see if I can get my paper out here and show you on my paper so I don't have to wreck somebody's. Oh, where is my paper? It's in here. 'Tis in here. I know it's in here somewhere amidst all the stuff. That's not it. What am I going to do with my paper? Well, I say I'm going to do that. I guess I'm not, because I don't know what I did with my paper pack. Well, that's interesting, because I do like that paper pack. But anyways, this is pretty simple. Like I said, you're going to have some left over. You're just going to trace around with a pencil and then cut it out. And then you're going to just like add them where you want to. I would suggest laying out the pieces of your layout. And like on this one, I tucked them underneath. I tucked that one underneath. But see how I put these? These are also underneath. So you're going to pick, and actually this was one that I stenciled and I put it there because I wanted some more of that to go through. So this was actually over a stenciled one. And this one might have been too, or maybe not. I'm not sure. This one probably was. I don't think either of these two. You'll see once you lay it out where you need more to balance it. That's why I did that in the end. I wanted it to have more balance. So that's why I added the ones that I added. And actually the one I added here was half off my page, so I just cut off the edge. And these I tucked underneath. You can see I tucked them underneath just to give it a little more interest. So that's about it for this layout. I hope you enjoy doing it. It was a little bit to cut on the Cricut. It took a while for all the pieces. But it's very effective, and I love all the detail in it. And I love this paper, and I love the colors of this paper. It just screams sunflowers and fall to me. And I added the orange in. So you could use your, leaf peeping photos or sunflower photos if you have them. So anyways, I hope you enjoy that. Now, a couple of little things I wanted to show you that I have been cooking up besides that. I had that to cook, that's for sure. I have been making some little Halloween things with the Halloween pack. So all you folks that made the Halloween thing, this was my own design. I used embossing powder, white on the black and black on the other colors with Versamark ink. And I just cut the little squares, the stitch squares out of with my silhouette, or with my cutter, my Sizzix machine. And then I fussy cut. This was the stamp set that came with it, other than this one. This one right here is A1238. And this was also in the catalog. It was a Halloween one. I really thought it was cute, so I opted to get it for little Halloween treats that I make for the kids. Anyway, so I fussy cut that out. I actually used the embossing powder on that one too. And then the little sequins that come in that kit, oh my heavens, they are adorable. That's the little spider from the sequins. And then the little pumpkin, I just cut, I did the embossing powder on the nectarine paper. And then I fussy cut it out, and I stamped it with regular ink on lemonade or canary, I don't remember which, whatever I had on the table here. And I just stamped it again and just cut out the little eyes, nose, and face, or eyes, nose, and mouth, and then glued them inside. Made sure they were just a teeny bit smaller so that you could see the embossed image behind them. The little bat, same thing. I just used white embossing powder on him, and I popped his little wings on the ends. And then I did the trick or treat on a little banner piece. And then I cut out, I did the candies, and I fussy cut them out with the black embossing powder. I used avocado, that's a new color. And I think that's that new color grape that we have, only it's on the lighter side, I think. One's on the lighter, one's on the darker, it looks like. And then I added a little bit of jute behind this little guy, wound up on my fingers, and cut 2 3/8 inch squares for the pattern paper out of the paper pack. And used a white background 6x6, and I got the frame at Michael's. It was a lot of fun to do. I thought it was really cute. So I did that. If we were in better times, I probably would have had a class on that, but we are not in better times. So, and then I've been doing these foundation decor frames for seasons. I started with my seasons first. And then I got into doing the holidays. So I've done Christmas already, but I wanted to do these. The fun thing about these frames is you only buy these insert pieces because they have magnets on the back and you just stick them in. So you buy these background pieces, and you can buy, actually I bought the kit for this, and it comes with the background pieces and the letters and stuff, and then you just trace them onto here. And now they actually have the digital designs. So I cut this with a digital design pack on my paper. But this is our Got Candy Halloween pack that I use in my cardstock. And this is actually, this little piece is actually, I put it through an embossing folder. This glitter paper is not close to my heart. But this is the new Bluebell color on this one. I really thought it went well with that purple stripe in there. So that's the Bluebell. And I use black glitter here. This, as I say, is not close to my heart. The green, that is actually one I bought somewhere else. And the little gumdrops, oh my god, I love the little gumdrops. They're so cute. Look at them. They're so darn cute on the bottom there. I stamped them, and I think I stamped them on white with colored, ink, because it's a solid image with little, it's got little dots in it right here. You can see. I might have used it, I might have stamped them on the same color of paper, but then I put a little glue on the top and did some glitter on them so that they look like they have sugar, like gumdrops do. I love that. I thought that was a cute detail. Little things amuse me. And that was one of the little things that amused me. Oh, and then this little guy, we got the cutest little pack of sequins in that thing that I told you, but I used it for the eyes. And I thought the little white ones made perfect eyes because on top of the black, the little dot in the center makes it look black. So I thought they looked cool. So I did them on the bat, and I also did it on the spider here. And I kind of overlapped them a little on the spider. I thought that was fun to do. And then here's the little ghosts that are in that pack. The little ghosts are all the sequins. And there's also a pumpkin in there, which I did not use here because it was too small to use with the big pumpkin. But it was cute. I might put them up here. You could put them up here, I suppose. But anyway, so this is my little foundations decor one. And you can do as much layering as you want, but mostly the pieces are already layered, so you just stack them on top of one another, and it gives you that layered look, because they're like wooden. They're like this. When you get them, they're like this, and then you can just cover them with paper and glue them down. So anyways, that was my fun little Halloween project so far that I've done. I still got more of the paper pack. I've got to make some treat bags. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I will soon. So for now, that's it for our October layout club. Take care, everybody.